I'm Nathan Smith with Tallgrass TV.
I'm Abigail Fuller. I'm a director with a film here at Tallgrass.
And what film is that?
It's called Do You Dream in Color?
And what's it about?
It's a coming-of-age story. It follows 4 blind teenagers over the course of a year, all pursuing different dreams. So it's a bit of a advocacy piece because it shines a light on some of the institutional and attitudinal barriers that young disabled people face. But it's also an affirmation of the human spirit. It's anyone who's ever felt like an outsider can relate to kind of trying to prove to people that you can do something when others don't believe.
So when you set out to make the film, were both of those components present, or did you just seek to tell their story and find within that the human element?
I think that really the story evolved as we immersed ourselves in the lives of our characters and within the blind community. It wasn't something that we necessarily had a specific agenda when we set out to make it, but it was a result of witnessing the situations and the struggles that they were going through, capturing it both on and off camera, and really feeling like we could do something by telling their story and sharing it with others. So it was an evolving process to really kind of hone in on what we felt like the message of the film could be.
So what made you pursue this project? What was the moment where you decided, I need to make this film?
It was a long process. We made the film over the course of 5 years. So we filmed it in 2009, and at that point, it was the name of the film, Do You Dream in Color? The film originally, we wanted to also look at the dreams of blind people. And what happened is, at a certain point, we realized what was happening in their lives, the dreams that they had to become a sponsored skateboarder, to travel the world, to fight the education system were more compelling, more exciting, and we felt like more authentic for us to be able to tell those stories. So it was a process. I think there wasn't really a singular moment that I felt like there was a mission statement. It was just from the get-go, from meeting these young people, we felt like we wanted to do something. There was a story here. There were strong characters, and then it just evolved into what it ended up becoming 5 years later.
Okay, so the project took 5 years. How do you maintain momentum over 5 years and push through with the project?
So hard. I think editing this film was one of the hardest things and one of the things I'm most proud about completing, because there were so many times when you have a lack of resources, a lack of funding, a lack of time, and you've seen the footage multiple times, you have 200 hours in hard drives, and it can just seem so overwhelming to ever actually get to the finish line. So I think that what kept us going is the whole message of the film is about working hard to pursue your dream and overcoming obstacles, and it was hard to make a film about those themes and then want to give up. So we were inspired, I think, by the subject matter itself, and we felt like we needed to do justice to the characters and their stories, and if they could pursue their dreams, then we had to pursue ours as well.
Was there a particular moment that stands out during the production that was a favorite moment, either a happy moment or something, an obstacle that you guys overcame that really sticks out?
Well, finishing it was great. I think along every step of the way there were really great moments. I made this in collaboration with basically a group of friends. We all went to USC Film School, and we graduated and kind of set out to make a film. And so there was a lot of road tripping up the coast and, making sandwiches, because we were doing this on a shoestring budget, and, road trips with like blasting Taylor Swift, and there was a lot of kind of fun along the way of the production and really bonding with the families and the characters in the film, and they became like family to us. And I also really loved working with our composer, who is also visually impaired. And he brought on that stage of the process. It was my first time working so intimately in designing how the film would sound and the emotion that we could give to it with the music, which is so important, especially in a film where a lot of our audience they're going to listen to it and not watch it. So that was a really rewarding experience as well, to kind of add that whole layer and see the film kind of become that much more cohesive and exciting, and find a voice through the music as well.
Well, knowing that, you bring up a good point, knowing that a lot of the audience viewing this or attending this film will not be viewing the film, does that change your approach with editing the film?
No, it doesn't change the approach. We were from the onset very adamant about making the film inclusive to all audiences. So we have offered, from the first time we screened it at Big Sky in Montana, where we premiered, the film is fully accessible. So if you're blind, we have audio description, so you can listen to visual parts of the film being narrated. We have closed captioning. We participated and screened at the Metropolitan Museum of Art in New York for the 25th anniversary of the Americans with Disabilities Act.
Okay.
So that's been a really exciting experience as well, to not only be advocates about the community and the education system through the content of the film, but then actually in the format and the way that we've been distributing and exhibiting the film across the country has been another way we've been able to kind of shine a light on some of the equal access issues with the blind community and deaf community as well.
So how do people stay current with the progress of the film? Do you guys have a webpage?
Yeah, we have
Facebook?
a webpage, doyoudreamincolor.org, and we are also on Facebook, which we're posting photos from festivals and keeping people up to date. We just signed our deal with our distribution company, which is exciting, and then we'll see how that pans out in terms of where we'll actually be visible come early next year. So that kind of is being assembled and strategized currently.
Do you have another documentary that you've already begun or about to begin?
I just wrapped last week a documentary that's part of a series that I'm directing for Netflix. So that's part of a television series, actually, or Netflix original series. And that also is a very exciting project to work on. Really
so what do you
great.
think of the Tallgrass Film Festival?
Tallgrass has been really great. It's amazing that the community here has been incredibly receptive to the filmmakers and enthusiastic about independent filmmaking. And I think those of us who are coming from the coasts and these kind of little hubs of LA and New York, where we're used to finding communities that support the arts, we don't always necessarily assume that there's such a vibrant community that loves to consume it in other parts of the country. So I think it's really refreshing and exciting for us to find an audience in a place like Wichita with open arms and kindness, and everyone's so friendly and curious and interested. So it's been really incredible. And then Tallgrass treats the filmmakers really well. There's a lot of really interesting events and ways for us to network and collaborate with other young and independent filmmakers. So that's been also a hugely rewarding part of the experience.
So the tagline for the festival is stubbornly independent. What does it mean to you to be stubbornly independent?
Stubbornly independent. Yeah, I thought that was a great, and there was even tattoos I saw that I'm going to put mine on right before I leave so I can wear it home and talk to people about it. But stubbornly independent is, I think, a great tagline, because it's about that kind of all of us who choose the road of making independent films or making documentaries or making something about a social issue or something that you're deeply passionate about. We don't do it because it's a very lucrative thing or it's a very easy thing. You do it because you're stubborn and because you have this need and this passion and this will to kind of say something and share something and be a part of something and collaborate and create. And I think those of us the other people I've met as part of this festival, we all share that in common. It's a passion for the process and then for being able to share it. And I think, to me, that's kind of what that stubbornly independent represents.
Anything else you'd like to add?
That's it. Just yeah, I would say come out to the screening, but this is obviously not.
Yeah, yes.
And it's playing in 15 minutes.
Right.
So
Get there quick.
cool. All
very
right.
much.
Yeah. Thanks for having me.